The unveiling of the MVPs yesterday, no big surprise in either category to me. I knew it was going to be Shohei. We had talked about that. Was praying, hoping it was going to be Cal, but I kept saying I think Judge is going to get it. We talked to Morosi about that. It felt that way, and unfortunately, that's how it turned out. And it's hard to be outraged. I can't be mad. Aaron Judge is a phenomenal player and had a phenomenal season. I would have voted Cal, not because I'm a Mariner fan, but because now if Cal were an outfielder, I would have given it to Judge. If Cal were a first baseman, I would have given it to Judge. If Cal were basically any other position, I would have given it to Judge.
That's a good way to look at it, yeah.
But
agreed.
Because he plays the most physically demanding, and you could argue mentally demanding position in baseball.
Right.
And did it at the level that he did it. It'd be different if he were kind of he's an okay catcher. He's fine. He's not. He's a phenomenal catcher.
Right.
So any other position on the field, my vote goes to Aaron Judge.
Right. Because the numbers.
Yeah.
I mean, just look at the numbers and, just how easy it is for him to hit a home run. But, yeah, Cal squatted 120 times, 120 games, I mean.
Yeah.
A lot more times than that. So, I mean, you look at what he's gone through. So, 39 as a DH, but...
You think your dumper would look like that, squatting that much?
Yeah.
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 Now you know.
Maybe that's what I should start getting back into. When you get old, it starts to go away
Your knees might not let you get back up.
Yeah. Like I said, Bob, when I go through, have to take my belt off at security at the airport, it's a tragedy. Pants go right to the ground.
There's nothing holding them up.
No, I mean, that part of it is, it's a good way to put that. But also, I think that there was more reasons to hate the Houston Astros, right?
Yeah, because there's a breakdown of the voting here, right? So you look at, where the voters, who they cast their votes for. There's a big printout here, and like the Baltimore writers, there were 2 from Baltimore. They both voted for Cal Raleigh. There's a writer from Boston voted for Raleigh. There's another Boston writer voted for Judge. There's a Chicago writer and 2 Chicago writers that have voted for Judge.
Mm-hmm.
But you scroll down, you look at, all right, Houston. They know Cal better than they know Judge because they face him more, right? Year in, year out. Both Houston writers put Judge first, Raleigh second. Yeah. And then you keep going down, you look at Texas. All right, so Texas knows Cal better than they know Judge. Both Texas writers, the Dallas Morning News, Sean McFarland and Kennedy Landry from MLB.com, both from Texas, both went to Judge. And you're like, all right, well, that seems a little biased, perhaps. You know him better than anybody.
Yeah.
You've seen it. You know his prowess. I mean, you look at L.A., the 2 L.A. writers voted for Cal. So assuming they cover the Dodgers and the Angels, I don't know how they spread that out, but you're covering the Angels. It's in division. You know, right? Maybe it's Oakland as well, or I don't know how they divvy up Oakland since they're not Oakland, but they're still California and Sacramento. So you saw, if we're just looking at those in the division that know Cal better than any, they all went to Judge, except for L.A.
Yeah, that's just weird to me because you're saying it firsthand. You're saying it more than anybody else. How about, though, the one sort of bright spot is Tyler Kepner, who we had on.
Mm-hmm.
He's a New York writer. He went with Raleigh.
Yeah.
So
it's because he's got some ethics. He's got some integrity.
He's got some brains.
Yeah. So it just
he can see.
Do you think is there anything to it? The rivalry? Do these writers allow themselves to get into that? Especially if you cover the Houston Astros, do you look at it and go, ugh, I hate Seattle. I'm not voting for this guy. I mean, I'd like to believe that they've got more, like I said, professional integrity than that. But it does seem odd that the Texas writers and the Houston writers all went for Judge, and they see Cal decidedly more than Judge.
Right. Yeah, that's confusing to me. I don't know why they would do that, but I think that
they're awful people. It's
well,
Texas.
Right, and that's exactly where you go. The first thing you think is, oh, they're trying to stick it to us, right?
Yeah, kind of. It seems a little odd when you see the breakdown. Maybe it's not. Look, there were plenty of other people that voted for Judge. Detroit did. Detroit split. There were 2 writers from Detroit, Detroit Free Press and Detroit News. One went Judge, one went Raleigh.
Yeah.
Just looking at it, Kansas City, same thing, split. One went Judge from the Kansas City Star. They went Raleigh. I don't know, Joe Posnanski. I don't know who that is, but he went judge. So, yeah, you look at, there were some splits, but Minnesota both went judge. New York, as you point out, Tyler Kepner went Raleigh, so he kind of went against the grain. The other New York writer went judge.
Yeah.
Obviously, both Seattle Times, Tim Booth and Ryan Divish both went Raleigh.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I think what we learned is Tim Booth and Ryan Divish have integrity and the other voters don't.
Yeah, that's exactly what we learned. The other thing surprising who kind of got lost in the wash, Julio finishing 6th.
Yeah.
I mean, I hadn't even thought about it, and we'd had such a debate about, Cal versus Judge that he kind of got lost there a little bit, but that's kind of cool.
Yeah. I hadn't even thought of that either.
I hadn't either. Yeah. I was. If you'd asked me, where would he finish, I would have been like, well, is he on the list?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he wasn't one of the finalists, but yeah, he was. Yeah. He got votes, so good on him. It speaks to what he's. Again, you look at his numbers in totality at the end of the season. If you didn't watch the whole year, you're going, hey, he had a nice season, man.
Yeah.
30 year. You kidding me? Those are star numbers. Good on him. But then, the frustration we've talked about is that all gets shoved into one little box. A 6-week stretch or a 8-week stretch, and you got all these other weeks or months where you're going, we need him. Where is he?
Yeah, I wonder if that'll ever get fixed for him. Is that just going to be what we're going to have to put up with? Because every year, the problem is when you get into the season, you're 2-3 months in and he still hasn't kind of ignited. You're like, what if it doesn't happen this time?
Yeah.
But it always does. But I don't know, just having to count on that is a little bit frustrating. But either way, look, for him to be 6th in the voting is just, I don't want to say it's a surprise, because if you look at his numbers and everything, he deserves it. But I just hadn't really paid that much attention to him.
You think we should? I expect that he's going to be higher in these votings for years to come. I expect that Julio should be. I expect he should win one at some point, but at least be a finalist, be top 5. I think he's that kind of talent. We saw it. Mm-hmm. We saw that he is that kind of talent. It's more about being consistently that talent from beginning to end. And again, no expectations that you're just soon as March 25th or whatever the first day is, first game, all the way until September, he's going to be this guy. He's going to hit stretches where he doesn't hit. He's going to slump like every other player. But we've seen the extreme natures of the up and downs, where he just is either on fire or he's nowhere to be seen.
Right. Well, and then the other thing is, I think in this kind of voting is, it's clear that they don't think about the defensive side. So, because Julio plays a great center fielder, and I don't think people are, obviously they're not looking at that kind of thing. Do you think this will have an effect for next year, and maybe this will change how people look at that voting process? Like, let's look at this guy as, because we were saying yesterday that, like, they took the V part out of it. What valuable?
Yeah.
He is incredibly valuable to this team, and that's such a unique skill set of not only just toughness, but then also just how he's helping the rotation and just the defense side of it. And I don't know that anybody is really thinking about Julio Rodriguez's defense either. So I'm just hoping that this is one of those that kind of wakes some of the voters up a little bit, that like, hey, maybe we should take a closer look at what is this guy doing, when he's not
across
at the
plate.
board.
Yeah, and I don't doubt that they do on some level. And it rotates. These won't be the same 30 voting on this particular award next year. It rotates. So we'll see. But I think if I were a voter, I would, one of the basic questions I would ask myself is, where would this team be had this player not been with them? Say they got injured in game 1 and they were gone for the rest of the season. Where would that team be? Where would the Yankees have ended up? Where would the Mariners have ended up without Cal?
Yeah.
And I think the Yankees would still be a playoff team, and I don't think the Mariners make the playoffs. Much less getting eight outs away from the World Series.
I've heard so many opinions. I'm trying to remember what JP, he said, I don't have a vote, but
he would have voted for Cal.
He would have voted for Cal. And, does it kind of break down to like that? It just depends on the voters?
Yeah. Everybody's got their own criteria and what they place value on. And
so what you're telling me,
maybe
Bob,
there's some animosity from Houston and Texas and all that, too.
Yeah. But, I mean, if it was just an entirely different set of voters, it could have been Cal.
Yeah. We'll see if Yeah. Well, we'll get into what next year could look like and expectations because he's set the bar really high.